What's up? Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to share a story about how giving changed my life. Some of you know, some of you don't know. For many years I was a barber. I started very young, and during that time I got married, started having kids, and my wife and I, though we had some wonderful people around us, we financially were in it. We bootstrapped ourselves and we kind of had to forge our own way. And like a lot of folks, especially when you're younger, we're living day to day, week to week, check to check, kind of eking out a living, as they say. And somewhere around this time, not long after we were married, a friend of mine sent me some literature about self-development, self-improvement. And it kind of got me started down this path, which eventually led me into coaching. But during that time, I went headfirst into, okay, how do I make my life better? How do I improve my situation, family, relationship, all that kind of stuff? And throughout a lot of the literature and a lot of those type of things, giving is one of the things that pops up regularly. And until that point, I don't know that I gave anywhere consistently, at times and certain things, but never made a really regular habit of giving. So from that point, I started to give a little more and try to incorporate that in my daily walk, and still wrestled with the idea like, hey, I don't have much to give. What do I give? And this article shows up in the paper, our local paper, not far before Christmas. And it was about a man who every year takes donated bikes and bikes given to him and refurbishes them and gives them away to children on Christmas Day. And this particular year, someone broke into the warehouse shortly before Christmas and stole all the inventory. And for me, I thought, wow, what a selfless act for someone to do this every year. I mean, what better gift than a kid opening up or getting a new bike at Christmas? I thought that was pretty cool. So something kind of sat on my heart, like, man, I'm going to give this guy something, right? So at the time, now we're in a very rural area, Walmart sold kids bikes for $40. So I'd put $40 aside. It's okay. Christmas comes, boom, I'm gonna get a bike, give it to him, all that stuff. Well, you know how things happen. Life got busy. All of a sudden it's Christmas Eve. So I take the kids with me, and we're gonna shop last minute for my wife something from them, and I'm gonna get this bike from Walmart and take it to the guy. Well, we get to Walmart and the store shut down. There was some sort of incident that happened and they closed the doors. And I thought, well, man, so here I am scrambling and I want to get this bike. Well, there's no other place locally that I could get a bike for $40. So anyway, I do the shopping. We get through Christmas. We have a good couple days with family and all that jazz. And it's on my heart. Like, man, I promised myself that I would give this to this man. And so I Google him. I find his address. I find out where he lives. I show up. Hey, man, introduce myself. Boom, 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 all that good stuff. And I give him the money and say, hey, I really meant to give this to you before Christmas, but I didn't make it happen. But this is for next year's inventory. And he was more than gracious and a wonderful person, and extremely grateful. It was a great encounter. And that was on like a Monday. And I started back to work the Tuesday. And I literally had enough gas to get from my house to his house back and then back to work the next morning. But that was it. Like, we were strapped. I mean, there was like, whatever I made on Tuesday was going to be how we made it through the next meal. So the next week, I, by far and away, had the absolute, financially, the best week I'd ever had in the barber business. Unmatched to any other week I'd ever had. Now, coincidence? Maybe. But I don't really believe in coincidences. But it made me believe enough in giving, especially when something was on my heart to give, to make sure that I did it. So from that point on, I gave consistently. Now, it may have been, I only had $1. It may have been $5. It may have been, helping somebody load their groceries at the grocery store. It was not always financial, but I made somewhere for a long duration of my life to give somewhere every day in some way, shape, or fashion. And consequently, the next 10 years of my business, the business grew exponentially. The relationships that I found myself in became more rich. I knew people showed in my life that were, man, wonderful people, givers of themselves. Opportunities came. And I attributed a lot of it to giving consistently, and giving consistently without expecting anything in return. And throughout the years, like anything, I find myself in ebbs and flows. Sometimes I give, sometimes we fall back and aren't giving as much. And one of the reasons I decided to share this story, this morning, I kind of had that thought, like, man, I've not been giving lately the way I feel like I should and the way I have in the past. And so, though it's not much, I grabbed a coffee and I paid for the person's coffee behind me. And that may seem insignificant, and maybe it means nothing to them, but I tend to believe that you get out of life what you put in it, right? You give good, you get good. And this is not about money or monetary. It is just about living a fulfilled life and feeling that you left something better than you found it, right? That buying someone $10 worth of gas at the gas station, maybe it gets them a couple gallons, but maybe it got them to the next job interview or got them to the hospital to see their sick kid. And there's always going to be someone who says, oh, if you give somebody money, they're just going to buy drugs or drink with it. And that is a possibility. And that is absolutely something that could happen. But I think you have to give from a place where just the law of averages, the percentages are more good's going to come of it than bad. And when you give from a place like that, you never run out of something to give. And consequently, the world, the universe, God throws stuff back into your life that are better than you could ever expect. And it's hard to put into words and it's hard to quantify. But I challenge you over the next 30 days to give somewhere, some way, and not expect anything in return, but find somewhere in your daily walk where you can contribute. If it's going to a soup kitchen, if it's helping someone cross the road, if it's, buying someone a meal at a fast food place, whatever it is, right? Give what you can and just see how your life changes. Anyway, hope the video finds you well. Peace.